Alright, so you guys wanted to know what is the best dinos to use when you are playing solo. So if you're a solo player and you don't really group up with anybody and you want to know which dino is the best for when you're playing solo, and in this video I'm going to be going over the top 5 best dinos for solo players in my opinion, and we're going to discuss it in this video. So this is going to be in no particular order. This is just going to be 5 dinos which I think would do great for solo players. Coming in first is the Allosaurus. So when you do the Allosaurus, you want to do a speed build. You want to just make him fast because he's naturally fast, and if you can make him any faster, it would be great for combat situations. Now the Allo I would consider probably a mid-tier dino. And the reason I picked the Allo first was because he was my very first dino I grew on this game in official servers when I first played this game. And honestly, one of the most fun I ever had was with this guy. Just the battles alone, the traveling in packs or solo, and just a lot of good scenarios I had with this guy that made the game really fun for me. Now the reason I say he's good for solo play is because really nothing can really fuck with you. Obviously stuff that are bigger than you like a T-Rex or something crazy can kill you, but the advantage you have over them is you're faster than them. He has 1100 sprint speed with 700 health and 4000 combat weight. So although we debated in the past that the Allosaurus does need some buffs when it comes to his moveset overall, but in general though, he's actually pretty good. If you could find Allo packs to group up with, it's even better. But this video, we're focusing more on solo play. I would say the only thing you have to worry about when you're fighting is a pack of like smaller dinos like Metries or Conks, or another pack of Allos that attack you. But when you're talking about going against a T-Rex or a trike or something big, you have the advantage of speed, and that's why I really love this guy. Even for solo play, you're able to get out of many situations just with the speed alone. His moveset is very basic. Now he does have a bite attack that does 60 damage, which is actually pretty good for a bite attack. And then he has a clawing attack that does 30 damage with 0.75 bleed. So although it's just basically 2 moves plus a tail attack that only does 30 damage, if used correctly or in a pack, it can be very, very deadly. I had pretty good 1v1s with this guy, so I think it's very possible for you to win a lot of 1v1s. You just have to be smart with how you play. Next up, we have the obvious one, the T-Rex. Now, I know every game, no matter what game it is, people like to pick the strongest characters or the biggest guy because they want to be the strongest one there. T-Rex does have a lot of flaws, but he is very, very strong. And if you're planning on playing solo, nobody would really fuck with you unless you come across either another T-Rex that wants to fight, or if you come against a pack of dinos that are going to jump you. But if you run into anything, like if you run into an Allo 1v1, most of the time, if they're smart, they're not going to fuck with you. But if they're feeling brave, you know, they will try to attack. But otherwise, T-Rex does have that intimidation factor, especially on official servers, making you think twice if you want to fight them or not. T-Rex has 1000 health with 7000 combat weight. He has a bite attack that does 80 damage. He has a bone snap that does 30 damage with up to 30 seconds or a minute of bone break. And then he has a crushing bite that does 40 damage and 10-second bone break. For legs, he does have a charge attack that does up to 80 damage as well. And then for tail, he has a tail attack that does up to 30 damage. And then he has a tyrant roar, which gives you 1.11 times more attack. Also able to stack up if you have other Tyrannosaurs in your group. Also, you can put on thick scales just to give yourself some extra defense. Now, I'm basically doing this video off of experience because when I first played this game, I was definitely a solo player. And I'm basically giving you guys the dinos I used during my solo time that really helped me survive, win a lot of fights, or scare off a lot of other players. And that's why, that's how I became up with this list. Next up, we have another big guy, the EO Trike. Now, I know the EO Trike has, you know, taking a hit when he last got nerfed with his headbutt damage. Also, his stamina is not the best, but when it comes to PvP and fighting, you actually can hold your own, even when you're by yourself. I've seen trike players take on a pack of Allos. I've seen them take on a Rex. I've seen them take on a lot of big, crazy situations where they came out alive. And that's why this guy deserves to be one of the good ones for solo plays, because even by himself, he can handle himself. The trike also has 1000 health, the same as the T-Rex, but he only has 6500 combat weight, which is still a pretty high combat weight considering the max for official dino is at 7,000. Trike also has a sprint speed of 1,000, which makes him possibly one of the fastest bigger, heavier set dinos in the game. Now where he really shines and what makes him so strong is his headbutt. but only when you have sharpened horns on. So forget about the bite. Don't even put the bite on the trike. His bite only does 50 damage, but no one used that compared to what his headbutt and sharpened horns can do. So sharpened horns basically increases your damage output for 60 seconds, and it increases it from 1.3 times more damage. And your headbutt attack is 70 damage. So when you have sharpened horns, you're basically doing 1.3 times more damage than the 70 damage his headbutt does. So if you do the math, you can see how much damage you would do. For front limb, you have Stomp, which does up to 90 damage, but I do not really see anybody utilizing this move, so I don't never really use that. For legs, you do have a Charge Attack, another one of his really good moves, because his Charge Attack does up to 120 damage per tick, and if you have the sharpened horns on, this should also increase that 120 damage to 1.3 times more. And then he has a tail attack that does 20 damage, which is really nothing. But overall though, if you're playing solo and you utilize his moveset, you like learn how to fight with him, nobody would really fuck with you, obviously, unless they're another Apex or another Trike or someone big that can really hold their own against you. You should have nothing to worry about when it comes to just wandering and questing. But keep in mind though, when you are growing up, when you're whether a juvie, adolescent, or subadult, you will get probably KOS, killed on sight, every time someone sees you, just because people don't like trike players or they just, see you as a threat. Next up, we have the bars. Now, I know you guys are probably wondering, oh, of course he's going to pick all the big Apex or big dinos, but if you guys want to survive solo, you're going to need dinos with strength. And the bars, let me tell you, one of the funnest for me, like PvP-wise, one of the funnest and just, oh my god, one of my favorite dinos to use. So the bars actually has 1,500 health. That is the most health out of every official dino in the game. He obviously has 7,000 combat weight. You can see how big he is. And his signature move is his tail slam. But let's go down the list real quick. So for head, he has either a bite or a headbutt. I would suggest using the headbutt, as the headbutt does 55 damage, where the bite attack only does 10 damage. So obviously you do the math there, headbutt is the way to go. For hide, you want to do thick hide and you want to do a defense build. When you make a bars, do the defense and then do thick hide. Now his tail slam, which is his bread and butter, does up to 75 damage, while his regular tail attack only does 35 damage. So you can put both of these tail attacks on, obviously, because they have both slots, but utilize that tail slam and then utilize that tail attack and the headbutt as well. For voice, he has a rallying call, which increases the defense of all party members within 30 meters for 1 minute. So before you get into a fight, what you can do is use this call. You get 1.5 times extra armor. As well, and when you have thick scales on and a defense build with this rallying call, you are going to become an absolute tank. You're going to soak up a lot of bites, and you can get a lot of hits off on whoever you're fighting. And then we have the duck. Probably one of the most intimidating looking creatures or dinos in the game. I just love the way he looks. He looks very intimidating, especially when you're a smaller dino and you walk up on one of these guys and you see him looking at you like this with his sharp claws and just big body hovering over you. It is crazy. He has 1,000 health with 6,800 combat weight. That is very good. He has a sprint speed of 800. And what makes him even better is he's a semi-aquatic, so he can move pretty fair on land. He's kind of slow, but he's not super slow. And he could also travel in water as well. And you can see he swims pretty fast in water, which is really good. So when you get to like the big lake in the middle, if you're playing on this map, or if you're playing on Gondwa, you can easily just swim through the rivers or the lakes and get to the other side, whether you're chasing, escaping, or even for food when you have to get fish in there. There's a lot of things this guy can do, which is what I really love. Now for his moveset, he has a bite attack. It only does 20 damage. No one really uses the bite attack on this guy. What you really want to use is the claw attack. The claw attack does do 60 damage, which is really good. I think it's by one of the highest or the highest claw attack damage in the game. The only one that has higher claw attack damage than him is the Spino. The Spino has 65 damage. This guy has 60. The Spino's claw attack has bleed. This claw attack does not have bleed, according to the stat chart. For hide, you can do dense feathers to increase your defense, or you can increase your swimming speed. That's really your preference. And then for his tail attack, it only does 20 damage. So like I said, the moneymaker for this guy is the claw attacks. He's pretty good at face tanking. Obviously, if you're fighting something like a T-Rex, you're going to have to be a little bit more careful with your PvP. Utilize the waters and rivers and lakes to your advantage when it comes to just escaping or buying time or whatever. But yeah, this guy is definitely good for solo. I use him a lot. No one really fucked with me. I mean, they fuck with you when you're a baby growing up. But once you get full adult, no one really messes with you unless they're in a full pack and they're feeling brave. But yeah, guys, those is my top 5 list of the best dinos to use when you're a solo player. If you guys have your own list, maybe for you other solo players out there, of dinos you think work best for solo players, let me know in the comments below and give me your list as well. Hit that thumbs up if you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys subscribe for more Path of Titans content, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.